Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Mihani, commerce study student at Rehan School and Academy Beijing. So today we have Maya with us. So hi Maya, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What's on the agenda today?
Okay, so Maya, our today topic is wood. My first question is what what exactly is wood and where does it come from?
Wood is essentially the skeleton of a tree. It's a porous and fibrous structural tissue found in the stems and roots of trees and other woody plants. It all starts with the cambium layer, which creates new cells that eventually harden into the dense, strong material we use for everything from furniture to pencils. What else are you curious about?
Okay, why is wood considered an important natural material?
Oh, it's a massive deal because it basically keeps the planet breathing. From a practical side, we use it for homes, heat, and paper, but the real impact is the carbon. Forests act like giant lungs for the earth, sucking up carbon dioxide and locking it away in the wood. Plus, it's the home for the vast majority of land animals. There's a whole hidden world of fungus underground that lets trees communicate and share nutrients too.
Okay, what are the main components that make up wood?
The real stars of the show are cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. Think of cellulose as the strong fibers that give wood its structure, and hemicellulose as the flexible glue that holds those fibers together. Then you have lignin, which is the real MVP that binds everything and makes wood rigid and resistant to decay. Together, they turn a soft plant into something you can actually build a house with.
Okay, why do different types of trees produce different kinds of wood?
It's all about genetics and the environment they grow up in. It's like how different people have different strengths. Some trees evolved in cold, harsh climates and developed softer, quicker growth cycles, which gives us those softwoods like pine. Others grew slower in more temperate zones, creating denser, harder structures. Then you've got things like soil nutrients and water access, acting like a personal trainer, tweaking the wood's density and grain to make sure the tree survives its specific neighborhood.
Okay, what is the difference between hardwood and softwood?
It's a bit of a trick question because it's not actually about how hard the wood is. It's more about how the tree reproduces. Hardwoods come from deciduous trees, the kind that usually have broad leaves and produce seeds inside a fruit or nut like oak or maple. Softwoods come from conifers, which have needles and produce seeds in cones like pine or cedar. The irony is that some softwoods are actually denser and harder than some hardwoods.
Okay, which types of wood are commonly used around the world?
It really depends on what you're building. Pine and spruce are huge globally, especially for construction and paper because they grow fast. Then you have oak and maple for furniture since they're so durable. For the fancy stuff, you've got mahogany and teak, which are prized because they're naturally resistant to rot and water. Then there's bamboo, which isn't technically wood, but is used everywhere now because it's so sustainable.
Okay, how is wood used in our daily lives?
Pretty much everywhere you look. It's the frames of our houses, the floors we walk on, and the tables we eat at. Then there's all the smaller stuff, from the pencils in the classroom to the shipping pallets that get everything delivered to our doors. Even the paper in our notebooks started out as wood.
Okay, what are some things made from wood that we might not even notice?
Oh, plenty. You'd be surprised. Hmm. I think there might be a little glitch in the transcript. You just got me off guard with that one. Were you asking about sugar? Or did the
Okay, why is wood commonly used to make furniture?
something else? I think the transcript might have turned common in camo, but regardless, furniture makers are all about the balance of strength and beauty. Wood's naturally strong and supportive, and since it's easy to carve and join together, you can make pretty much any shape you can imagine. Plus, the grain and color bring a kind of warmth into a room that metal or plastic just can't
Okay,
touch.
why is wood such a popular material for houses and buildings?
I think the transcript is playing tricks on us again. I'm betting the transcript turned musical instruments into misses and dealies. If that's the case, wood is popular there because it's not about the structure, it's about the sound. Different woods like spruce or maple vibrate in unique ways, allowing luthiers to fine tune the tone and resonance of an instrument. It's what gives a violin its soul or a guitar its warmth.
Okay, what makes wooden objects attractive to people?
I think it's that it's a organic tactile quality. It's got this natural warmth that makes a space feel lived in and cozy, which is something you just don't get with cold glass or plus something deeply satisfying about the unique grain patterns that make every single piece
Okay,
feel
why
like
do
a
some
one of a
people
kind work of
prefer
art.
wooden furniture over plastic or metal furniture?
It usually comes down to a trade off between that timeless feel and just making life easier. People who go for wood usually want that warmth, durability, and the feeling that a piece will actually last a lifetime. Plastic is more about the now. It's lighter, easier to clean, and way cheaper, which makes it the go to for a quick dorm setup or a patio.
Okay, how is wood used in art and decoration?
It's one of the most versatile mediums out there. Artists use it for everything from massive, rough sculptures to incredibly intricate carvings like those detailed patterns you see in old architecture. Then you have the modern side of things like live edge tables where the artist keeps the raw, natural curve of the tree to make the piece feel like it was plucked from the forest. It's a way to bring that raw organic energy right into a room.
Okay, what role does wood play in traditional
Go on.
crafts and cultural objects?
A wood is basically the keeper of history. In places like Japan, you have the incredible art of Yosegi Zaiku, where tiny pieces of naturally colored wood are meticulously joined to create these mind blowing geometric mosaics. Then you have things like the totem poles of the Pacific Northwest, where wood isn't just a material, it's a family record, carving stories of lineage and spirituality into cedar. In many cultures, certain woods are considered sacred, used for everything from religious idols to ceremonial masks because they're seen as living bridges between the earth and the divine. It's the kind of material that doesn't just hold a shape, it holds a legacy.
Okay, why is wood strong even though it comes from a living organism?
I think the transcript might have stumbled on organisms, but it's actually a pretty cool piece of natural engineering. It all comes back to those building blocks we talked about earlier, specifically the lignin. While a lot of plants are flexible and soft, lignin acts like a natural concrete, filling the spaces between the cellulose fibers and hardening them. It creates this rigid vertical structure that allows trees to fight gravity and grow hundreds of feet into the air without snapping.
Okay, how do the rings inside a tree tell us about its age?
The rings inside of the trees, those rings are basically a tree's diary, recording every year of its life. In the spring, the tree grows quickly, creating wide, light colored rings. Then, in the autumn or winter, growth slows down, leaving narrower, darker rings. By counting them, you can figure out exactly how old a tree is. Scientists call this dendrochronology, and it's how they can reconstruct climate history from thousands of years ago just by looking at the wood.
Okay, what can scientists learn by studying tree rings?
They're basically nature's hard drive. It's wild how much data is packed into a single stump. Beyond just the age, scientists look at the width of the rings to figure out weather patterns from hundreds of years ago. If a ring is really narrow, they know it was probably a drought year. If it's wide, the tree had a great season with plenty of rain. They can even find fire scars where a forest fire damaged the tree but didn't kill it, letting researchers map out exactly when and where fires happened in the past. It's like reading a biography of the planet written in circles.
Okay, why does wood sometimes float on water while other materials sink?
It's all about density. Even though wood feels solid, it's actually filled with millions of tiny air pockets in its cellular structure. Since the overall density of those air and fiber pockets combined is less than the density of water, it just pushes the wood right to the surface. Materials like iron or stone don't have those hidden air buffers, so they just dive straight to the bottom.
Okay, why does wood expand or shrink when humidity changes?
Because wood is basically a giant sponge. Even though it feels solid, wood stays alive in a sense, absorbing water from the air into its cellular walls. When the humidity spikes, those cells swell up, causing the wood to expand. And when the air gets dry, that moisture evaporates and it shrinks back down. It's actually why old houses groan in the winter, or why a wooden door might suddenly refuse to close in the summer.
Why can wood burn and what happens to it during combustion? Combustion.
It's basically a chemical explosion in slow motion. Wood is made of organic compounds, mostly carbon and hydrogen, which are essentially stored solar energy. When you add heat and oxygen, those chemical bonds break apart. The energy is released as heat and light, and the carbon is released as carbon dioxide gas, leaving behind that gray, powdery ash. It's why a single log can keep a room warm for hours. You're literally releasing years of captured sunshine all at once.
What makes some types of wood harder or more durable than others?
I'm thinking the transcript might have turned wood into food again. It really comes down to the growth rate and density. Slow growing trees have more time to pack in that lignin and cellulose, creating a much tighter, denser grain that can withstand a lot more wear and tear. That's why a piece of old oak is basically a tank compared to something like pine, which grows quickly and leaves more gaps in its structure. Then you've got natural oils like in teak, which acts like built-in armor against rot and insects.
Okay, how important are forests for the health of our planet?
They're basically the Earth's life support system. Beyond the oxygen they produce, they're massive biodiversity hotspots, providing homes for millions of species that can't survive anywhere else. Plus, forests are a primary defense against climate change by stabilizing soil to prevent erosion and regulating the water cycle to keep the whole planet from overheating.
Okay, what is the environmental impact of cutting down trees for wood?
It's basically like removing a giant part of the Earth's immune system. When we cut down forests on a massive scale, the first thing we lose is that carbon locking system we talked about. Instead of sucking CO2 out of the air, the remaining organic matter often rots or burns, releasing all that stored carbon right back into the atmosphere. Then you've got the habitat loss, where entire species are just wiped out because their neighborhood disappeared overnight. And without the root systems to hold everything in place, the soil just washes away during the first big rain, which can lead to mudslides and ruin the land for anything else to grow. It's a domino effect that hits everything from local wildlife to the global temperature.